What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to the Tuffy Talk live show, y'all. We are back almost rolling. Last week we did the live show on Wednesday. Now we're doing it on Tuesday. So, we're getting closer to being back on schedule, but obviously everything's been kind of thrown off a little bit. The whole schedule's been thrown off really for the last month and a half, basically. With with the Final Four and everything going on with basketball and just it's been craziness. Like we haven't even done that many episodes recently, just because again the schedule's been absolutely bonkers. But with that being said, we're getting close. We're getting close to being back on schedule. But we're joined by myself, Lane Smith here with Michael Tracy. Should be joined here by Greg Legg here momentarily. But with that being said, I see we already got Razor, Michael here in the chat. But if you've been with us before, you know the drill. Any questions, thoughts, concerns, we will get to them here today. And for Razor. I know that he's kind of already talking about the award show, which we're going to be recording here right after this live show. So we're going to be doing our 2023-2024 NC State men's basketball superlatives award show. So doing things like MVP, best defensive player of the year. We'll also be doing like top reaction videos, which we're going to be talking a little bit about those reaction videos here today. But if you want to still participate in submitting your vote for the men's basketball awards, make sure to use that link in the chat. And I'll actually try and see if I can post it a little bit better. But you ready, Michael? Who are you thinking so far? I mean, like you think that that a lot of these votes are going to be pretty close, or do you think that some of them might be runaways?
I think there's a few that were obvious choices. But I think everybody kind of has their favorite players too. So,
oh sure, yeah.
I think it'll be spread out.
Sure. Yeah. So obviously we were talking about doing the live show yesterday and actually getting back on track, but because of the Final Four celebration, we decided to hold off until tonight. But man, what a crowd! What an event! I live all the way up here in Mebane, and so I was thinking about going. I really was, but I was just like, man, it's going to be a parking lot around that campus and trying to get there and all that. It was just going to be crazy, and it definitely looked like all that and then some for sure. A spectacular event. So got to give a huge shout out to all the staff members that were involved in putting all that together. As I'm sure it was not easy, especially having the mayor there, which was super, super cool for sure. And again, being able to show love to not only just one of our teams, but to men's and women's basketball. Like it still honestly, it hasn't even hit me yet that both teams made it to the Final Four. It's honestly crazy to think about. Now I do want to kind of ask you, Michael, that there's been some UNC fans that have come at us saying like, man, a choke job by both teams in the Final Four. And I mean, to me, what kind of happened is like was kind
UNC
of
fans don't have any room to talk. I like.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah. I mean, both state teams were up against number one seed, so I mean, yep. It was definitely going to be. Those definitely would have been upsets again. I mean, State did pretty much for the men's every game except Oakland. I guess Oakland, they were technically a slight favorite, but they were underdogs in every single game. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, and again, I mean, like South Carolina, I mean, look what they did to everybody else. I mean, shoot, they beat UNC. They were up by like
they
30,
already beat they beat UNC in the same tournament.
So I mean, again, so basically, I think the best way to say is what happened is the reality bar. Like basically what you saw happen is basically what most people expected if you take away the bias. So obviously, it was disappointing not to have one team compete for a national championship. But hey, listen. If you look at where they ended up compared to how the season started, it was a phenomenal season for sure. And we're excited already about next season. We're going to be talking a lot about basketball for sure, especially a little bit here today, talking about Keats, talking about the transfer portal, things like that. Michael saying here, consistency is what the team needed. And when Burns was on point, the team had the best opportunities to succeed. However, it takes a group effort to bring it all together. And I mean, I would say, I mean, again, we talked a lot about the Final Four last week, and we're going to have Greg on here momentarily, who's having technical difficulties here getting in here, but to kind of talk about his thoughts. But I know you and I, Michael, talked, and I mean, like Michael was saying, in order for that men's team to be successful, every piece had to do its part. And I think that once Michael O'Connell was out, it really kind of screwed everything up. It not necessarily we didn't have a chance, but just it put a lot of extra pressure on DJ Horne, which he didn't necessarily have to have at any point during the postseason because Michael O'Connell was so effective. And unfortunately for DJ Horne, he just wasn't able to get shots in. And so, just an unfortunate thing. But yeah, go ahead, Mike. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. O'Connell, I mean, he's just so smart with the ball and knows when to push it and control the pace, and it allows DJ Horne to play off the ball, right? He can get better shot opportunities. You can run more stuff for him when he's off the ball. And he's very good off the dribble too, getting his own shot, but it's just he's a little bit more effective when you've got O'Connell out there running the point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So with that being said, I wanted to go and jump on over, actually pull up one tweet of the week to go ahead and get this thing started, Michael, and kind of you and me start to dive through it. So with that being said, let's jump on over some tweets of the week, y'all. All right, so this one specifically, I thought I wanted to really start to dive through here because, I mean, all right, Tony Bennett being one. Come on, Tony Bennett being one. I don't know about that, man. Free throws, man. Come on, bro. Yeah. Like that's coaching 101. All right, guys. So free throws, they're called free throws for a reason. Not to necessarily say you have to make every single one, but you should make 70-80% of them easily. That should be the floor. So I feel like I can't, because that was the Achilles heel for UVA the whole season. So I can't put a guy number one who can't even just get his guys to make one of the most fundamental plays in basketball, which is making a free throw. I mean, if they had made a free throw, we wouldn't have made it. We definitely wouldn't have been in the NCAA tournament, and we'd be still sitting here trying to make a positive spin on Keats, finishing out the rest of his contract. So, Michael, first thought, Tony Bennett, number one. Are you right there with me, or you think that's actually a little more fair than I mean?
It depends on what the criteria is on this list. If we're talking just this year, then no, there's no way he was number one this year. But I mean, resume wise, I think he's the only one on this list with a national championship, right? I think so.
Technically, but he's also the only one on this list that's lost to a 16 seed too. So as a one seed, so
that is true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a clickbait list. I mean, you've got Pat Kelsey at 6. You've got all the new coaches on there, and it's like, okay, I mean, they haven't even played in the ACC, so it's like, and Keats below Micah Shrewsbury and Steve Forbes, like, come on.
Yeah. Well, especially a guy like Adrian Autry with Syracuse. I mean, did you not see them this year? They were competitive, man. Like I don't know. I like in Jeff Capel being, there. I don't know. And also too, I think it's interesting him adding in the SMU and the Stanford and the Cal.
Yeah. Again, it's like they haven't played in the ACC. How are you gonna?
Exactly. I don't know. Just kind of a big funky list there. Didn't really understand it, but what else is new? So all kinds of clickbait. We got one comment here from Razor saying, I believe, talking about women's basketball, we would have not been in South Regional. We would face South Carolina in the finals. Oh man. Well, and again, I mean, just it is what it is. Like, we got there, we faced a really hot South Carolina team, and the team that ended up winning it all. That took care of Caitlin Clark. But let's bring in my man Greg Legg. Greg, what up, man?
Ah, there he is.
There he is.
What's going on?
There he is. What's up? I was a little worried there for a second. Yep, I got you. You got me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, man. Yep.
All right, beautiful. So, man, you wanted to be like Chuck Coates over there and get your own NC State title belt as well?
He inspired me, man. So I had to get one made.
There we go. I love it. it. And with the what made you do the block S instead of the Tuffy logo?
Well, it actually has the strutting wolves on the side there. So, I like the block S, man. I like old school. So, wanted to
get it.
Do it a little different.
I gotcha.
It's heavy, man. This thing is freaking heavy.
I just
threw my shoulder out.
I could imagine. Greg, we'll jump into your thoughts here on the Final Four here in a second, but Michael and I kind of jumped into some of the tweets of the week to get rolling. But give us your thoughts here on this list. Tony Bennett at 1. That's kind of the main thing. I mean, what are your thoughts, Tony Bennett at 1 on this list?
Yeah, so I think he's getting a lifetime achievement award here with his NCAA championship. If he he got criticized a lot for the ACC tournament when he didn't foul O'Connell after the missed free throw. I mean, he's a great coach, don't get me wrong, but I mean, they were one and done.
And actually too, just to like kind of put this whole list away, there's one name that we haven't even mentioned, which honestly, like that person being at this level is an automatic, like this is the crappiest list made in history of time. And that is Pat Kelsey from Louisville being at 6. No shot, no chance, no how. Just all right, we're moving on from this list. That right there, honestly, I don't even know why it took me that long to realize. Wait, hold on a second. I see a Louisville icon at number 6. That is insane. And then I also too agree. Razor talking about Leonard Hamilton at the bottom, like at 15. No chance. Yeah, no way.
Yeah, so I guess this is like one of those way too early preseason pick type things.
I guess so.
At it, but
I guess so.
Well, I don't know. Like 1, 2 coaches with ACC tournament wins other than Kevin Keats on this list. Is that right?
Who? John Shire and Larry.
No, we got
3.
Tony Bennett.
John Shire,
and Larinaga.
Question mark?
Leonard Hamilton, but he's all the way down at 15.
Yeah,
right. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike Young too. Virginia Tech had that run.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, so crap list. So moving on here.
Real quick. Yeah. I mean, we'll give it like 5 more seconds, but like,
go for it.
There's a difference between coaching and your roster, I guess. Right. And
True.
So like, so much depends on this. Like Brown well ahead of Keats. I don't really know about that.
Well, and I mean, I mean, Hubert. I mean, with Hubert
Shrewsbury, crazy.
Yeah,
because that kind of goes to your point. That, and again, does coaching take into account recruiting / retaining guys? Because I mean, sure, I bet. Again, it kind of, what does this mean exactly? Yeah, because I mean, like huge hats off to Hubert Davis for keeping, RJ Davis and Armando Bacot, but also you also kind of don't really give him a lot because obviously they made a lot of money for NIL as well, which he doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with. That's obviously all boosters. So
I mean, only 4 of those coaches have a Final Four appearance.
That's true. That's a good point.
So
yeah. But moving on. Anyway, man. So Greg, obviously Michael and I, we had an opportunity to talk last week about the Final Four. And so just wanted to kind of give you an opportunity, man. Thoughts on the run in general, thoughts on the Final Four. Any of you really grinds my gears, which, I have one as well, which, I'll bring up. But, floor is yours, man. What you got for us?
Yeah, for me, for someone that was there from day one at the ACC tournament all the way to the Final Four run, I thought it was one of the most exciting times as an NC State fan. And it was only topped by going to the Final Four with my son. I think that was the creme de la creme. It was so great just seeing that, and I've talked about just seeing it through the lens of the parents having gotten to know multiple families fairly close during the run, and it was the greatest time. The trolls be damned. I don't really care what they say. For most of those people that have never experienced it in person, like, you can go suck a big egg for as I'm concerned. I loved it, every minute of it, and I'm so proud of those kids, both on the men and women's side, because I don't know if we were necessarily talking about either Final Four team, but it was awesome. I wouldn't trade it for a minute. I would trade losing in the Final Four any day of the week than not making it to the Final Four.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and so I asked this question last week, Greg, to Michael and Ken's, and I haven't had a chance to ask it to you yet. But I'm pretty much sitting here saying, in a completely non-biased manner, saying that that like I told you, like I wanted to make it to the championship game, so that way we could look forward to Monday and know what we're gonna do, whether we're gonna go tailgate, that we had the game to look forward to, things like that. But honestly, from watching that UConn game, that you and I both watched that championship game, UConn would have beaten us by 20, 25 plus, probably so.
Probably so. I mean, you obviously, you can live on your, 1983. We would have had
exactly. There's always a chance. Never give up. Yeah.
But realistically, I think we would have probably lost by as many, if not more, than what Purdue lost by. And that team was just. That UConn team is just something different. I mean, they're just built differently. Like, congrats to them. They're one of those programs that know their lane, right? They know what they're good at, and they're good at basketball, both on the men and women's side, just much like Vanderbilt in baseball. And so, you have these schools that determine they're all in on one sport. You're going to get those kind of results. I mean, it's just what it is. And so, you just hope to build on this. I mean, at the end of the day, you just hope to build on this, and hopefully that this isn't an admiration of once in every 40 years. Because if that's the case, then I had my time. Because I'm not going to make it to another 40 probably.
Sure.
But, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Good. Hey, Greg, can you do me one favor real quick? Can you unplug your mic and plug it back in again? There's some little bit of popping from your microphone a little bit.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Again, it was a spectacular one. It was a great time. I mean, if you haven't checked out our vlog yet for that, make sure to go and do that. And, where you kind of really get to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with the fan fest and, everything going on with the open practices, things like that. Like, it was a great time. Like, definitely the NCAA knows how to put together a Final Four. It was a good time. Now, the one thing which, I was laughing about earlier, and this kind of really goes to, I guess, what really grinds my gears? And that's the fact that literally this Final Four and the next 4 Final Fours are all on the West Coast. Every single one of them. I think there's one in Indianapolis, one in LA, one in Vegas, one in Dallas, I think. And so, so like if within the next 4 or 5 years we get to make it to the Final Four, we have to once again pay, an arm and a leg just to fly out to the Final Four, and then, paying for tickets, plus paying for hotels and all that. And so it's like, and I get what they're trying to do probably, which is they're trying to expand, interest in men's basketball to the West Side. Because I mean, think about it. Every single Final Four team was from the eastern side of the United States. So a little stat there, maybe think about. But yeah, Michael, thoughts there? You get it. You're like, it is what it is. Like, what are your thoughts on that? All the Final Fours being on the West Coast.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised they don't do it. There aren't more in the South, like Atlanta, Miami.
Yeah,
I know New Orleans has had it recently, but even that's still kind of it's not really East Coast. But yeah, it's probably what you said. Yeah, they'd just like to expand where their tournament is.
Where their audience
next year is San Antonio. Yeah.
Hey, Greg, don't forget to unmute yourself from StreamYard, man. You got to unmute yourself from StreamYard itself. Yeah, there you go.
It gets me every time. You got me now. Is that better?
That sounds better. Go for it.
Cool. Yeah, I got a loose cord on this stupid thing. You also have to remember too, there's a limited amount of venues that they can host from, on the East Coast. Like to your point, Michael, there's really only Atlanta on the East Coast because they're going to put it in a big old football type stadium.
Yeah.
So you could potentially put it in Syracuse, but it's still not big enough. There was, 74,000 people at the Final Four on 2 weeks ago. So yeah, you're just limited at the venues.
Hey, they well, and also to that fact that has to be indoor. So too, so like it couldn't be
it's got to be indoor football stadium. Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
and most East Coast stadiums are outside because the weather's better.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, Josh pointing out that I said Dallas. That it's San Antonio, Texas. So thank you, Josh, for correcting me on that.
2030 in Dallas, though.
2030 in Dallas. Yeah, so that'd be cool. I like Dallas, but I'm assuming at the Dallas Mavericks, not the Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
No, Dallas Cowboys Stadium, AT&T.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was there I think it was there like in 2017, 2014, something like that. It's been there before.
Geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. All righty, cool deal. Well, let's jump on over back again to. Well, hold on. Anybody else have any other really grinds my gears for jump back on over?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You know what really grinds my gears?
People that this is going back to the Final Four.
Okay.
So I was very lucky to be able to sit with the family members, and everyone that was sitting directly behind the family members, large donors. Thank you for your money. We appreciate you. But damn it, be a fan. Get on your feet, cheer. Like the team needed you in half of the section, and you know who you are. Section 110. All right. The first 40 rows of 110. Get off your ass and cheer for the damn team.
I love it. I love it.
I was just trying to get people going, and people are just like,
yeah,
that's like those dudes look at us like when they're in the TV timeouts and they see the crowd behind
right there.
them.
Yeah.
You don't think that doesn't fire them up? Like, I get it. You donate a lot of money. You've earned the right to sit in those seats, but damn it, be a fan too. Like, be a fan.
Well, and you know what? I'm going to say this too, and luckily enough, we've kind of been able to address this by basically going and standing in the student section for football games. But I'm also going to kind of add to that as a caveat.
Really grinds my gears.
Times two,
and that's what, and that's the fans saying, because we literally, me and my family, we actually got given crap by fans that were sitting behind us, saying, excuse me, can y'all sit please, so we can see we can see the game. And again, like Greg, I think you had mentioned it, or Michael had mentioned it, but how like there's certain times where it makes sense for people to stand, such as third down, such as after a big play, things like that.
Situation dictates it. Like,
not standing the whole game, but necessarily, but in certain situations. So I think that, and we actually even got told to the point where this is a this is a seated section. We actually got told that this is a seated.
That's not real.
Which, I mean, yeah. So supposedly, I guess that basically means like if it's not a student section, it's a seated section. And I don't know. Let me know in the comments if anybody else has heard that before. But again, like I get it. Like first of all, like if you're behind me and you're older or you're things like that, like okay, yeah, I get it. I'll try and be supportive to the point. But listen, at the end of the day, I pay for my ticket, which I guess this kind of goes a little bit against you, Greg, just a little bit. But like, hey, listen, I paid for my ticket. I do what I want. So if I want to stand, that's my prerogative without being a jerk. It's again, it's a middle of the road.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope. But again, just keeping in mind that especially if this is kind of on the other side, because it's a home game, not a neutral site. Yeah. It's a home game. Like, we're the ones making that atmosphere. So I would rather fans be a little bit too much, standing up a little too much, a little bit yelling too much, and make it a more exciting, a more crazy environment than too quiet. You know what I mean? So, but
so I definitely want to add some context to this, because I think it's important. When I was saying, like, get up off your feet, like after like a TV timeout, right? Like when you go on a run and the other team calls a timeout because they can feel the momentum switching, right? That's one. I do understand, like at Carter Finley, because the fans are so close to the field. Sometimes I do understand why the first 5 or 7 rows have to stand up to be able to see. And then that kind of causes a chain reaction for everybody else to having to stand, because now you got someone standing, it just is a domino effect. So I get that. But at the end of the day, it's about being respectful. If no one is standing around you and you're the guy standing, don't be that guy. Like, there's no reason. But if it's kind of made its way to your section, get up on your feet. Like, again, situation dictates it. Just at the end of the day, don't be a jerk fan. That's and so what I was specifically referring to was like during a timeout multiple times, or like I'll stand up for a second, like let's make some noise, something, like get behind your guys and or ladies, depending on the sport you're at. But yeah, that's my grind my gears.
Cool. Got it. Michael, you have any before we move on to our next tweet of the week, man?
No, I'm very much on the same page. I mean, I'm very much on the same page with standing. I mean, I don't care. I'll stand. I don't care about sitting behind me.
Well, because basically me and my family, we had tickets laid right beside the student section. So we just said, all right, well, instead of dealing with them, we'll just go and just stand in the student section, and who cares? And that's the other thing too, which I know they're not going to change it, but for the love of God,
really grinds my gears?
Can we please put the band back where they belong, for God's sakes, in football games? I know they're not going to change it. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to die on that hill. It is terrible, the band being over there. The students have a hard time even staying like on beat as it is whenever they, do, songs and things like that. Like, dude, the daggone fight song, like, they just take off every single time. And especially now with the band being all the way over there and it being harder to hear. It's just mayhem. And because used to, and Greg, you would, and I'm sure Michael, you know this as well, but like I would say maybe 8 years ago, give or take, they used to have a guy that was basically
like
leading the
captain.
student section. Yep, the yellow captain.
Yeah.
And that used to run the student section. That's why they still actually have that daggone speaker right in front of the student section, which I don't even know why they have it now because they don't use it. Right. But if the band's going to be over there, then put a yell leader in place. You know what I mean? Just to get just to help students know what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Like that's my gripe is, okay, if the band's going to be over there, put a yell leader in. But if you're not going to put a yell leader in, bring the band back over to where they need to be. That's my piece.
If a student doesn't want to do it, you have a 47-year-old volunteer that's happy to do it. So energy is everything. I mean, from a guy that's been told multiple times by family members of athletes, from former athletes, they appreciate us being loud and on the verge of being obnoxious. It is truly an integral part of what we need to be as fans.
Amen. Absolutely. Josh saying, someone told us at the AC tournament, ain't no way I was about to sit down with what I was watching. Yeah, no, again, crazy. I honestly, that championship game, if I had gone, I probably wouldn't have sat down the entire game, to be honest with you. I probably would. And honestly, the Final Four game, I mean, everybody pretty much stood up the whole time.
Yeah,
for the most
pretty
part.
much.
Like
where we were.
Like I sat down knowing I wasn't going to see anything, but I sat down to try and, get some mojo change, but it didn't work, unfortunately. So, which I loved it. So, and Josh saying it was actually a Duke fan. That's funny.
Who had no skin in the game.
It was no skin in the game. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Razor saying if it was a championship game, assuming, but I don't know. But Michael, go ahead. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just going to say our section as well. I mean, they were saying it's staying the whole time and only sat down during the timeouts, but I mean the way it's set up, you kind of had to stand to actually get a decent view.
It was so far. I was only technically in the fifth row of actual fans seats, and I still thought I was a mile away from that thing. I can only imagine people further back. Lower level wasn't really all that it was cracked up to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, by the way, too, with Razor, did she ever find her Pack Power sign referring to the lovely lady? Who is it?
Angela Crumpler.
I love it that you know her name. That's awesome. But yeah, basically that had her Pack Power sign stolen from the 83 run, I believe
74.
It was. 74 run. So yeah, she got in the 74 run and it got stolen. And as far as we know, she hasn't found it yet. Is that what you're hearing too, Greg?
Yeah, nothing's unfortunately turned up. She's a really sweet lady. She was a cheerleader back in the day. And it breaks my heart because it's honestly irreplaceable. There's folks on that team that are no longer with us. And so, you can't replicate it. And
even if you got another sign.
Yeah, it's BS. And luckily, since this is a family channel, I won't say what I really think, but that's really crappy if it was an NC State fan that did that, which, it would most likely be because it was in our section.
Yeah.
I do have a slightly funny story that I forgot about from the game.
Okay.
We were in section 114 and literally the last row. So behind us was like the handicap section, and there was only two people, and they were both like older ladies in wheelchairs, and they were Purdue fans. So it was like so hard during the game to be mad and like turn around and see them, and they're just sitting there all happy and cheering, and it was like, oh man. like I want to be mad, but these two ladies are just like so happy.
Oh,
yeah,
I think
it was funny.
Yeah.
The other fun story is we got to meet the cheese wheel, Abby, the cheese wheel winner, in the most random place in the middle of a freaking canyon. Like, that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
great trip though, man.
Yeah, no, we actually literally just ran to Abby Lampy, the famous cheese world girl, and it was hilarious. So Abby, if you're listening or watching, shout out to you, big fan of yours, always will be.
Great meeting you in the most random place, or like the one guy that we ran into on that trail in the middle of the desert, literally in the middle of the desert. Hey, Tuffy talk, what's up? That was pretty cool. So
that was good.
Yeah.
All right. So tweets of the week here. So got to give a shout out to, first of all, DJ Horn for breaking the single season program record for the most 3-pointers. What?
Yeah.
Broke the tie. It was a tie before.
Oh, broke the tie. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, broke the tie with 105 3-pointers made in one season. And honestly, like, I feel like this is a stat, which, I mean, you know, like, you look at the guys beside him, Scott Wood and Rodney Monroe. Like, here, let me ask you this. I know, you know, a while ago we did like our, you know, mock draft, you know, all-time greats. And so, like, I know Rodney Monroe and Scott Wood were on those lists for us. Like, for me, does DJ Horn hint like if I were doing all-time 3-point specialists, are we putting DJ Horn in that conversation with Scott Wood and Rodney Monroe?
He definitely did it quietly, right? Because I didn't even know that was a thing.
Well, because that was my thing, is I think like he broke that record out of necessity, not out of necessarily that's his skill. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say he's a 3-point specialist.
No,
I would just say we just need, because Casey was struggling. Like, we needed somebody to hit threes. Exactly. So not
I would love to
take
see the percentage of each one of those. I would love to see the percentage. Which each one did that this season that they had 104. I think. Go ahead.
Per game too, because obviously Horn had 10 postseason games. I don't think Scott Wood or Rodney Monroe even came close to that.
Yeah, that's a good call, right? Again, it kind of goes back to the percentage. You know, if I had to take my guess, I think Scott probably had the highest percentage.
I would guess, yeah.
But Rodney could shoot the damn thing, so it wouldn't surprise me if he had. And again, it's also too like different era. I mean, I hate when we make comparisons. It's a different era of basketball because the philosophy has changed with 3-point shooting. You know, with the Golden State Warriors and the Splash Brothers kind of changing that over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, people realize that 3 points is worth more than 2.
Yeah, it's amazing how long it took for them to figure that out.
All right. I'm actually getting it right now. So if y'all give me one more second, but yeah, no, again, I mean, just got to give you a huge shout out though, DJ Horn, man, just absolutely was phenomenal. This entire season. So
everything about him in every, I mean, I know we're going to do, I think a recording about something for the recap of the season or whatever it is that we're doing. But I mean, that needs to be a 5-part series because there's just so many, like, there's so many guys did so many wonderful things. And it's like, if you don't talk about them enough, it feels like you're doing them a disservice.
All right. So I got it. So Scott Wood was a career 41.3% 3-point shooter. The year that he broke the record was his last year, and he shot at 44% from 3.
So even better than his career.
Yeah, 44% from 3.
That's insane. Crazy. Dudes don't even shoot that from like 2-point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good 2-point percentage.
Yeah. And then Rodney Monroe, his junior year is not the year he actually broke the record, but he shot 48.3% from 3.
Holy crap.
He was 84 for 174 from 3. But the year he broke the record, got 104 3-pointers. His senior year, Rodney Monroe shot 43.5%.
So pretty close to what he was Scott shot then in his year.
And so DJ Horn this year, he shot 40.
Take a guess?
Go for it.
I'm going to say he shot probably 34. No, actually, no, he wasn't too bad. I want to say 38% from 3-point land.
Yeah. He was 40.4% from 3.
Okay. A little bit better then.
Yep. So not quite at the level of Scott and Rodney, but I mean, it's still respectable for sure.
Yeah. 40% is really good. I mean,
yeah, no, for sure. So, hats off to him. And It's funny. I got to bring up this comment here real quick. Rob asking, have you guys gone to an away game and cheered like you were home? I have it. It was NCSU versus ECU in football.
Yeah.
Not 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was just walking with my tail between my legs and walking out of the stadium with a win that was the ugliest win in the history of wins. But I mean, UNC 2 years ago at UNC. Oh, I was totally just.
Yeah, you and I were right beside each other in that game. We're right behind each other. Yeah, we were pretty ridiculous.
And we were like, well, because all these UNC fans, saying, hey, enjoy watching us at the ACC championship game next weekend. All that were like, and like that was the most hilarious thing of all time. And then they went and got curb stomped by, I think it was Clemson. So fun stuff.
Yeah. So for me, I definitely, there's a time and a place. Again, I like that phrase. If I'm sitting amongst NC State fans, I am pretty much like at a home game. If I'm on an island by myself, my wife literally has to remind me that, hey, we are not in Raleigh. And she's actually said that multiple times.
Yep.
And so, I sometimes have to tone it down, but I still definitely cheer.
Sure. Sure. And Razor asking, so which one of you three have put to be the new voice of the Wolfpack for Gary Hahn? I mean, I think what's our guy for baseball?
Andrew Sanders.
Andrew Sanders. I think he made a heck of a case yesterday. He did a great job at
he does the women's games too for basketball. He does a really good job with Ernie. Yeah, if I had a better voice, I definitely would put in for it. But yeah, I have a face that matches my voice and it ain't pretty. So
I love it. All righty. So moving on to our next tweet of the week here, and don't worry, North Wolf, we'll get to tennis. Don't worry, I promise you. So give us a second. Next tweet of the week here is actually from Wolfpack Vishnu, who put this whole Excel sheet together. So which I just put the Excel sheet because if I put the whole tweet with the Excel sheet, this would look like you would really need your carrots to read that this Excel sheet on the tweet. But basically the background of the tweet is basically Wolfpack Vishnu saying Keats has navigated through programming free for all after it got fired, NCAA investigation, 3 season-ending injuries to top guys, a COVID year, and now we have our first AC championship and Final Four appearance, and for the first time in 41 years. Let's take a look back and put the Keats journey into context. And so now I really want to caveat this immediately, saying I hate excuses because every coach, every team has excuses. There's not a single team that's like, oh yeah, we had no injuries and everything went perfectly and no guys got sick and like it was a great season, no issues. Like no, every team has injuries, every team has issues they have to work through. But I think it's just kind of reminding everybody once again about the NCAA investigation, which again, from a recruiting angle, makes it really, really tough for you. The COVID year where, there's still honestly a conversation on if they still would have made it to NCAA tournament or not. But I do know they beat Pitt in the last game before they canceled the tournament pretty handily.
We were the only team that won a tournament game that year.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So again, just got to give you a huge shout out here. But I mean, here, Michael, what do you think really? Do you think anything really stood out to you from looking at this list here?
So this was I saw this one and it's like, the year after that the 2021-2022 season, I was pretty adamant that we should keep Keats when pretty much everyone wanted to get rid of him at that point. Just because of kind of the stuff he laid out here. Like Keats never had a chance before that to coach not under investigation with the NCAA or FBI, not under COVID, like
some kind of weird thing.
Yeah. Like, and I get it's like excuses, but like it wasn't just like, okay, you had one player miss like 2 weeks of the season. Like these were major program impacts that, he was having to navigate. But I think I've kind of been proven right on that in the 2 years since then. He's made the NCAA tournament twice, ACC champs, Final Four. So, obviously the transfer portal has been a big part of that, which came around, kind of after that. Well, I think it was July 2021, so right before that bad season, but it wasn't like fully in swing yet. So, starting in 2022, he turned around, made the NCAA tournament, and then obviously this year, we know what happened this year.
Well, and the one thing, and Greg, I'll pass over to you, but the one thing actually which stood out to me the most was actually in that 2018-2019 year where he had the context saying that NC State was the highest ranked net team to not make the NCAA tournament in history at that point. At number 33. So
I think there was one this year that was like 29 and didn't make it.
So like for me, it's kind of a little bit like if he would have made 2 NCAA tournaments in a row and then had the COVID year to kind of cancel with still a possibility of making a third straight NCAA tournament on the line, would we have looked at Keats a lot different? For those 3-4 years afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the question mark would have still been there, right? Hadn't won an ACC tournament game, hadn't won an NCAA tournament game. I get all of that, right? No, wait, he did win one, that Pitt game, but hadn't really advanced in the ACC tournament. That's really more of that was the talking point. I mean, you look at all of this, right, and you have to take the full body into consideration, right? And it's the dumpster fire from Gottfried. It's the investigations. It was everything that the COVID, like everything was kind of playing against you. And we, we weren't the only team. Like Arizona was kind of going through the same thing, but yet they were still successful during this time. So I mean, there's things to compare it to. It was really that 2021 season that you're like, oh, and then it was 2022. You're like, oh,
yeah.
And then, and 2023 season was okay. He makes the changes to the staff. He hits lightning in a bottle with the portal. And then we're like, okay, go build on it. And then this year. So again, we keep talking about it. It's about stacking. And so you thought, okay, 2023, this is the year. And, you look at the teams that he beat that year, Duke, UNC, Miami, there you see these glimpses, and now it's about going out in consistency. And then everyone was talking about this year, like we started 5-1, and then we went on the losing streak, and then we kind of picked it up at the ACC tournament. But again, you look at things. There was things that we dealt with this year. You had the MJ Rice mental health thing that we had to deal with. We had LJ Thomas leaving in the middle of the season. Like those are things that could have derailed the season, and people could have just said, you know what, the heck with it. I'm done. I'll play it out, but I'm not really playing it out. But this team rose above all the noise. When there was a ton of noise out there, not only with the team itself, but with the coach.
Literal, like actual reports coming out, rumors.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, the crazy fans wanting them to be fired. There was legit rumors out there. So
yeah. From media. People, there were writers out there that already had his eulogy ready to rock and roll in 20 minutes, that actually was like 17, 18 minutes, I think, because if you look at that Louisville game, like they had his eulogy ready to hit post.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nope. I'm here with you. Yeah. No. And the biggest thing, which I'll go ahead and just go ahead and let everybody know, even though, again, it's not going to change. Like there's going to be a few percent of fans that are still going to be calling for Keats' job next year if he, has a little bit of a rough stretch. But I'll make it very, very clear. The chances of us firing Keats after next year are -1%. It is not happening. Now with what he just did, he has, he's gotten raises, he's gotten extensions. So like all the questions of, well, can we fire him this year? Now we really can't afford it. Combined with the fact that he just came off of a Final Four appearance, an AC championship tournament appearance. He's going to get at least 2 or 3 years at the very least, even if he just craps the bed. Just because of the fact, he just won you AC championship, man. He just won you AC championship. We are not getting rid of him. So
definitely 2 years. No. Definitely 2 years.
I think at least 3. I think he's got at least 3. If you go the next 3 years and say we don't make the tournament for the next 3 years, I think that 4th year it's like, okay, now you're back on the hot seat. Right. But I think I would say 3 years, because just like you said, goodwill and just like from a money aspect at that point.
It definitely didn't get any cheaper.
Yeah.
No. Exactly. And Rays are saying, yeah, him getting fired at the end of next season is 0, even if we go 14-17. Exactly.
The only way he gets fired is if there's some major NCAA infraction or some kind of personal conduct. And honestly, I don't see any of those happening with him.
Yeah.
No.
So you never say never, but it would take an act of Congress, basically.
Agreed. Yeah. All right, so real quick, last thing for basketball, and then we'll move on over a little bit to football and a little bit to other stuff as well, baseball. Got to give a shout out to Wolfpack 2024 for this tweet.
I love this one.
Where you have UNC fans saying, well, why is NC State holding a celebration on Monday night for just an ACC title and a 5-4? Yeah. That's lame. But then that same UNC fan says, man, it was so awesome when we almost burned down Franklin Street for an utterly meaningless regular season game versus Duke. Yeah.
And football or basketball? Because remember when they beat Duke a few years ago in football, they lost their mind in that overtime.
Well, that was last year.
But my point is are they referring to a basketball game or a football game?
Either way, it's
right. That's my point.
And especially too, because there's a certain UNC fan, which Greg, you know who I'm talking about, who will come at me saying, well, just let the students have a good time. Well, if they want to storm the court, then let them storm the court. And I'm saying, well, again, it's not a matter of having a good time. It's a matter of mentality. The fact that, again, when we beat ECU, which, I mean, I don't know about you or me, but in football, beating ECU is huge, for me, in my opinion, especially at ECU, because that's really where ECU is at ECU. Right. ECU doesn't travel as well as most teams do, but at ECU, they go all out. Yeah. And we won 2 years ago. Did you see me wanting to storm the field? Absolutely not. I was tucking my leg between my tail between my legs. I was getting the heck out of there. So in my opinion, after UNC barely beat Duke with their third string quarterback who lost to Wake Forest, I remind you, they should have just tucked the tail between their legs and walked out of there. But it is what it is. So
at the end of the day, celebrate however you want to celebrate, but don't go being a hypocrite about the situation.
Amen.
I don't care if they cheer and storm and do whatever. Go live your best life. Go, just sit this one out, guys. Just sit it out.
Agree. Yep. Just because, again, you have nothing that you can possibly hold over our heads right now. It is what it is. Sorry, not sorry. So suck on that. Anyway, I want to give a shout out as well. Yeah, well said. Very gentlemanlike, right? So, no, anyway, got to give a shout out. There are still a few tickets available for the second annual NC State football celebration next Wednesday, April 24th, which will take place at Northridge Country Club. It's not cheap. I'll be honest. I'll tell you that right now. It is not cheap. But I mean, the fact you're going to have pretty much the whole football coaching staff there. Peyton Wilson's going to be there to sign autographs. You'll have special performances by American Aquarium. You'll have opportunities at some amazing auctions. Last year they did the humongous Phillip Rivers painting, which was phenomenal. Phenomenal food, open bars. It is an experience for sure. But all that money goes towards NC State NIL. And again, last year they raised, I think it was over $500,000 or something like that from it. So, and I'm sure this year it's going to be even higher than that. So again, just go and take advantage, y'all. If you want to, definitely go and sign up. I think the cheapest ticket's $260, which I know a lot of people are like, that's not cheap, but again, it's going to be an amazing experience, amazing time, and the money goes towards a great cause. So please go.
I'm not sure if Phillip will be there this year. He was last year, but he might be because he'll be in town this weekend for his induction to the Sports Hall of Fame, the NC State thing. So
about time.
I know that. Yeah. Well, he kind of deferred on his own, but
right. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. About time he can get down here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I know last year they posted a list of who was going to be showing up, and I don't think I've seen a list this time around. So I'm not sure. I know last time it was a who's who, and they usually are, right? Because you kind of want a star-studded.
Well, and it's funny. So on the website it says Peyton Wilson will be featured. Will be the featured guest for the evening as we celebrate the culture and history of NC State football with coaches, alumni, players, and fans. So who is the alumni?
Right. I know last year they actually did Phillip Rivers and Torrey Holt. They actually named folks. So
yeah. No, exactly. So yeah, y'all. Again, there's a few tickets remaining, so to make sure to go and check out either One Pack NIL or Savage Wolves, and go take advantage and sign up here today. As we'll be there. It's gonna be a great time. Looking forward to it. And then the other big piece of football news coming out, which I think of all the guys that have left so far, that this is the one that's the most eye-opening per se, but not necessarily in terms of like shocking, but like in terms of I know this guy. Not necessarily push away the other guys who've announced they're putting their names in the transfer portal, but they just haven't played. Julian Gray is the one that's actually has actually had playing time for us. So yeah, Julian Gray entered the transfer portal. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I'll give Julian a pat on the back for sure. Like I like that he decided to go through spring and compete, see where he stood. But let's be real. No Rodgers, KC, Wesley Grimes, Keenan Jackson, Terrell Anderson.
No Rodgers.
No Rodgers. He had no shot.
It was facing uphill battle.
Oh, a huge uphill battle. So, it just, and especially because Julian, he just struggled so much last year as it was like, it would just it would have taken a lot. It would have taken a great spring to really impress the coaches to trust him enough to give him playing time over guys with the ceilings like Noah Rodgers, Terrell Anderson, Wesley Grimes has. So that's the piece. But I mean, anything else to say really about that, guys, besides about Julian?
No, it just makes sense. I mean, he's got 2 years. Go find some playing time, and go be your best version. Super nice family. I know my buddy's friends with his dad. His dad was in the Navy, and just good people. Just it's the world we live in. There's only one football. There's only one football.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
We'll have to find a new kick returner though.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be okay. Well, probably what, Jonathan Paylor? I think Jonathan.
I would imagine he probably gets back there. Yeah.
Either Paylor or Anderson.
But I think Paylor with his, the fact that he did everything for his team, how fast he is, I think he's the perfect guy for a kick returner. So, and because Jalen Coit, he's still on the team, right? So
he did punts, didn't he?
So he did a great job with punts last year. So I think he's the favorite to be your punt returner. So
we're not short. We're not short on receivers. No, that's for sure.
We are not short.
We're not short.
Hey, maybe you even see like a Duke Scott, returning kicks.
Maybe.
I don't know what kind of skill set he has, but the dude's got speed, and he touched the ball. He's got a touchdown every 5 times he touched the ball last year. So
but again, I'll bet money that Jonathan Paylor is going to be your kick returner. I'll bet money on that. But got to give a shout out as well to 2025 quarterback commit Will Wilson, who graded the 3rd highest Elite 11 rating, which for those who are not aware, Elite 11 is kind of like it's invitational. It's so basically there'll be state, like they have one in Charlotte where it's basically you can pay to go and do competition and compete and camps, and you get all your your 40 times and your shuttle times, things like that. But Elite 11 is basically invite only. It's basically like the All-American elite of the elite. And Will Wilson got invited, who is not the shortstop. The former shortstop is the 2025 quarterback commit, and he got ranked 3rd highest rating, which is basically how athletic are you? That's basically what it is. How athletic are you?
There is a caveat to this, though. This was a regional. This wasn't the national one. So I don't know if they pull, I don't know if they take the top 1 or 2 from each region. I don't know how many regions, because obviously it's an 11. So maybe he moves on to the next level.
Well, I would say competing against a bunch of Florida guys. Third, that's so. Because let's be real. If in football, if you're towards the top in Florida, or if you're towards the top in Texas, you're one of the top guys in the country.
Nationally.
You're going to be top nationally. So.
And if you look at this list, right, it's all Florida except for 1 Alabama and 1 South Carolina. So he's to your point, he's not going up against a bunch of scrubs.
No, the furthest thing from it, actually. Yeah. So huge shout out to Will there. And so again, the pipeline right now for quarterback right now in state is pretty nice,
promising,
looking promising.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, he's listed as 227 on there as going into his senior year of high school. He's huge.
He's built. He's built. And then just another clickbait list. I mean, top 15 wide receiver cores in 2024. Just the fact that that there's 15 teams that put on this list in terms of best wide receiver cores in 2024, and State's not one of them. I mean, come on.
You're saying we have the fourth best ACC receiving core, fifth if you count Notre Dame,
right? So because
no way.
ACC wise, you have Miami at 9, you have Notre Dame at 12, Louisville at 11, and Virginia Tech at 15. Come on,
like who does Virginia Tech have? Like,
and somebody pointed out that wide receiver cores is not spelled right.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
The core muscle. It's a core muscle.
Yeah, they're talking about the wide receiver as abs. That's how they're ranking them. That's what it is.
You can't even spell wide receiver core. Your list is already invalidated.
Exactly. Well, and the fact that we have arguably the best wide receiver in the ACC, combined with probably arguably the highest ceiling wide receiver in the ACC, and Noah Rodgers, in my opinion. I mean, that dude's ceiling is among the top of the top. So,
speaking of that, KC was ranked 57 in CBS's top 100 college, football players this year. So, if he's 57 out of 100 all positions,
individual,
correct. Like, where do you think he's at in the wide receiver numbers?
Exactly. So,
got to be top 15 at the worst.
Clickbait list. On to the next. So shout out as well, I guess, to baseball, who's losing right now to Campbell.
What was the score? Let's one left checked.
It's 7-6.
Oh, 7-6. Okay. Interesting.
Made a little comeback, but just left the bases loaded again.
Oh boy. Again, y'all. Here's where I stand with baseball. And Greg, I'll be honest with you, this might be a little bit of a hot take. So I'm gonna take it off me here. Yeah. I'm just not crazy about baseball, man. I hate the freaking up and downs, man. It just drives me nuts, man. Like the fact that we've entered and exited the top 25 like every other week. I feel like it's just like, oh my gosh, man. Like, but again, that's every team. Like every single team in the country has like these what are you doing losses, but then these like amazing wins. And I just
just tonight, Florida State losing to Mercer, Virginia losing to Old Dominion, UNC losing to Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina's good.
Yeah, they're good.
Wake Forest losing to UNCW, Pitt losing to West Virginia.
So again, it's just like what do we even talk about with baseball? You know what I mean? It's just like just roll the dice. Let's see what happens. You know,
the midweek games are a little sneaky, right? Because you got to save your pitching for the weekend, so you're not necessarily throwing out your best arms.
Sure.
So midweek games
and all these in-state teams are good too. So it's not like you can
right.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll bring it back
afford to blow them. Blow them off.
Yeah, for me this year, it's just the pitching consistency. And I know we've had some injuries here and there, and it's just trying to find the roles for these guys. And, we've got some injuries and some position players. So just trying to find the thing, it's been a weird season. But here's the thing. We're only really at the half point mark. And so there's still a lot that you can do. I mean, we've got series. So you look at these teams, right? So we just took a series against number 4. We took a series against number 6. Right. So that's good. But we still have a series versus number 9. We still have a game against number 10. We have a series this weekend with number 11. We have a series still at 14. I think we still have a Coastal Carolina game still, if I'm not mistaken.
But Greg, our out of conference schedule sucks.
No, it doesn't. I know that's I know that's not you. I know that's not you. Like, Campbell.
It's so weak. It's so weak.
I know it needs to be weak because you're going through a freaking gauntlet in the ACC. I mean, you have. Go ahead.
State's. They're in a good spot, right? They're 4-2 in ACC series, and like you said, two of those series wins are against 2 of the top 6 teams on this list.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We have a series number 5 too. I forgot. I couldn't see FSU, so we have a series still with number 5. So we will have had a series with 4, 5, and 6 again if this were to hold. A series with 9, a series with 11, a series with 14. That's 15 games, right? Is my math right? Is that 5 teams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 games, excuse me. And then you have 2 more games with ECU. That's 20. 2 more with Coastal Carolina. That's 22. So you have 22 games, which is almost half of your season with top 25 teams based on Baseball America. I know D1 is a little bit different, but if you're basing it off of this solely, half of your season is against ranked teams. That's insane.
That's crazy.
And that that Louisville series, man, it didn't get a lot of attention because it was the Final Four weekend, but Heupel and Whitaker didn't pitch, and that was tough.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah,
that might be one. If things can, again, here's the thing: we are still in the conversation to host. Like people, need to understand. Sure. I know people are kind of down on baseball. I get it because it's a crapshoot. If we give up less than 7 runs, I like our chances. Well, actually, I don't even like because we lost a couple 7-6 last week. So maybe if we give less than 6.
I think we're 14-1 when we score 7 or more runs.
Yeah. I mean, the boys can hit. It's just consistency. That's all we need. And I still believe in this team. I will always believe in this team.
Sure.
There's still a lot of baseball to be played. A lot of baseball. But you got to win. You have to win the midweek games too. I think we've been definitely struggling with the midweek games.
Yeah.
That kind of just sets up your tone for the weekend, right? You get a win on Tuesday or Wednesday. That kind of just sets the tone for the rest of the week.
Yeah. No, again, I mean, I'm just more saying it that again, it's just frustrating because I feel like I really can't necessarily get my heart too much invested because I know at some point it's going to get broken, but I know at some point too it's going to be like, oh my gosh, look at how amazing we are.
Because you're an NC State fan, you just naturally feel that way. It's not just baseball.
Well, exactly. No, that's it.
But honestly, though, just a couple of shout outs. Like Derek Smith last weekend, freaking crushed it. Like he had 2 really good outings last week. Other than the Sunday.
I'll give a shout out as well. I mean, the fact that we shut out Clemson for the first time. Clemson that was the first time Clemson got. Yep, that Clemson's gotten shut out in 132 games. Who this season averaged 8.2 runs per game, and we held them to 0.
Lost an ACC series and they've won their last 11 ACC series dating back to last year. And I threw a tweet out on Saturday, maybe it was Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember. But if for those that follow baseball, our season has been very much like Clemson's last year, where they were just kind of puttering around, not really doing anything. And then they came to Raleigh, swept us, and then they just went on a streak like nobody's business. And they were one bad ejection away from making it to Omaha with I think it was their shortstop or second baseman that got ejected for a really stupid call in the regionals or super regionals. And they win that game. That guy doesn't get ejected, they probably win and proceed. So hopefully, we have a similar trajectory this year with our squad. Because there's talent. I mean, there's so much talent. And by the way, if our freshman pitchers hang around, watch out in the next year or two. They're going to be really good.
Well, again, we'll see what happens, man. Just fingers crossed on it.
Gotta go play.
But, absolutely. Got to give a shout out real quick here to men's tennis specifically, who now has accomplished 10 ACC wins, which is a program record. And the craziest part is that, just to remind everybody, women's tennis has been pretty elite over the last few years. And, I think last year winning our first ever ACC title and making it to the national championship appearance. And as of right now, men's tennis is actually ranked higher than women's tennis right now in the country. Right now, men's tennis is number 11 in the country and women's is number 13, which is crazy. That is crazy to say the least. That's
both in good positions to host at least the first round, maybe the second round, depending on how things shake out.
Yep. And we actually even broke, I think, the attendance record for men's tennis this weekend, where we had almost 400 people show up.
That was over 400. I think it was 442 or something like that. Maybe it was 346. I don't remember. But that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Again, maybe, I'm not saying that they'll get on the level of wrestling, but it's a program it's just growing. I think you can say that with, the teams that haven't been quite as successful as of late. I think you're going to start to see that with softball. I think, it's just about gaining momentum. And I think, we talk about the big sports a lot, but these Olympic sports, I won't say little sports or the non-revenue sports, they're just as damn good, man. And we talk about it. It's free to go to tennis, man. If you're not doing anything on a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon, go watch some tennis, man. Get outside and enjoy the fresh air. Yeah.
It's fun to watch. They play a bunch of matches all at the same time.
Yeah. There's no downtime.
And the ACC tournament for both men and women actually starts this weekend at Cary Tennis Park on Friday. The women's team is number 4 seed, and then the men's team is number 3 seed. So both have a very good. They're both of them are competing for an ACC title, which is awesome. So and also too, the women have beaten UNC twice this year, who is the defending national champion. So again,
UVA is the number 1 seed, and I think Carolina was like the 2 or 3, and then we're the 4th. I think Miami's 3, Carolina 2. That's what it was.
So I know I haven't said this before, and I think it's time now. Maybe I have to say this for the first time, but I think this might be the best time in the history of NC State to be an NC State fan. I know that I have never said that before, but I think I'm gonna say it now for the first time ever. And of course, people will say, "No, the '80s was the best." So I'm like, okay, well, the '80s because of the national championship, I get it, but in terms of everything within NC athletics, like it's everything right now is clicking. Everything is clicking at an elite level right now. Swimming and diving, gymnastics, wrestling, tennis, baseball, football, basketball, women's basketball, like everything.
Cross country still has a national championship this year. Like,
and
that seems like eons ago.
Yeah,
right. I know the Learfield winter results came out. Was that last week or this week? I can't remember.
Yeah, the Director's Cup.
Yeah, was that this week or last week?
I think that was last week. But
anyway,
I don't think.
They're number 7 after the if they stay 7, that'll be the best all-time finish ever for NC State athletics. Yeah, by far. Because I don't think we've ever been top 10. 17, 18. Yeah, I think somewhere around there was like our best. 16, 17, 18, somewhere around that would have been our best. But yeah, leaps and bounds, we would have crushed that. So I think we're in good shape to finish top 10. If not, still the best ever that we've ever, because we have baseball, softball. Is there any other sports that I guess track and field, right?
Tennis counts.
Tennis. Yeah. Tennis. We just talked about tennis. So we can definitely make some more noise there.
Which I mean, both men's and women's are going to finish in the top 25 at the end of the season. I'm assuming, unless both just absolutely face plant, which I don't think is going to happen. So so you're going to get good points from them. Baseball, I mean, just let's see when we catch them. But I mean, they'll finish solid. They'll finish solid.
Yeah. You think they're going to do fine?
So
at a minimum, baseball should make a regional, so that's some points.
Oh, for sure. Sure, no doubt. Well, because again, just like Greg said, I mean, right now we have series wins over number 4 and number 6 teams in the country right now. So, but give a shout out as well to head coach Braden Holloway for swimming and diving, who got men's swim coach of the year.
Toronto just tied it, bottom of the 9th.
There we go. There we go.
7-7.
Tied it. Let's go,
Eli.
See, Greg, we're on that high right now.
I put on the baseball hat for tonight. And,
there you go.
I'm telling you, man.
It was military appreciation night, Greg.
I should have worn my camo baseball hat. Now that you said that, I forgot that was.
Man.
Yeah, I'm slipping. As Macon would say, am I even a fan? Shout out, Macon. What did we score a couple weeks ago? Again, remember that Duke game? What did we score? Like 7 runs, 8 runs in the 9th. I mean, it's not over. That's the beauty about baseball. It's not over till it's over.
There's no time limit. Yeah,
there's no time limit. Yep. So just keep putting it together. So that was the 9th that you said.
Yeah, bottom 9. He was the first batter up and hit a home run on the second pitch.
Now I gotta put this on. All right, have it on the background. I try not to have distractions. Thanks, Michael.
I know, but.
Yeah. Well, shout out to baseball there. But real quick, let me finish. Give a shout out to swimming and diving, Braden Holloway and Daniel Deal as well for winning men's freshman of the year. Again, y'all, just a phenomenal program. And how young Braden Holloway is, like, it's crazy.
Is this like Braden's Holloway, like multiple in a row, like at least?
Yeah, I was gonna say
3 out of 3. Yeah,
3 years in a row, and
did
I read it right? His 10th.
I think. Yeah, and that's it. 3 out of 3 and 10
how many
total.
years has he been here?
I know, it's crazy.
A while. And again, but keeping in mind,
he doesn't look that old.
No, he's not. He's not. I'm actually trying to find it right now. But yeah, he's a 5-time ACC Coach of the Year. So now he's 6-time ACC Coach of the Year.
So that number must have been wrong.
No, I think 3 in a row is right though. I'm pretty
10,
sure I read that same thing.
The 10, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, wait. That wasn't updated. Okay, now it's updated. So yes, now 10-time ACC Men's Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Men's Coach of the Year. Not even women. That's men's. Yeah, just men's alone.
He was also both men's and women, or
Correct. Well, he's the head for both. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't. Unfortunately, I'm not as versed as I probably should be.
He has assistants under him that focus on men's and focus on women's, but I mean, but yeah.
It's not quite like tennis then, because tennis has one of each.
Tennis is separate. Yeah.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, he's coached 12 Olympians. He has 11 NCAA individual champions to his name, 8 men's AC championships, 2 women's tournament AC championships. It's crazy. His resume.
I need to do some more research on him. Is he a state guy? Like, did he swim at state, or like did he just come in from the outside?
He was a 2-time academic All-American, graduated from NC State in 2001. Okay. So let's assume that he was 21.
So he's my age. He's roughly my age. He's probably 40, 44, 45.
Which is crazy. So he can coach NC State for another 20 years easily if he wants to, which is crazy. So anyway, huge shout out to swimming and diving once again. And then the last thing before we wrap this up here, I mean, for portal stuff, I mean, just wait and see. Again, all speculation right now. A lot of exciting options right now. A lot of exciting options between the guy from Indiana State. We had the guard from Tennessee who visited today. So I mean, for me, listen, I think all of them are great options. Oh man, Greg, did you get your honey to come and bring you that hat?
She's the best. Yeah,
let's go. That's awesome. There we go. Now you're rocking.
Now we're ready to properly support our military.
So Michael, Greg, any thoughts real quick about transfer portal for basketball?
It's so fluid.
I
try not to get too
we're in the best spot we've ever been. So it's like I think Keats will land somebody, a high level guard, even though
to that point, right?
Seemed like it at the time. Like I don't think like Darkel Joyner and DJ Horn. I mean, they were solid additions, but I don't think anybody expected them to be what they ended up being. So yeah, Burns too. So
I mean, the one thing you could say about Keats, he's very charismatic. He can, he's got a good eye for talent. His assistants. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to miss Joel Justice more than we realize. He's killing it right now for Ohio State, and I'm really happy for them. They're very nice people and family, and I think we're going to miss him more than we realize.
Agreed.
And it just sucks that we're still not that program to where people will poach, right? Like you would hope that we have enough money available to pay these assistants, like kind of like what we're doing for Tony Gibson, that we can match an Ohio State for an assistant coach. Like you don't want to lose an assistant coach unless it's for a head coaching position. So
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. You only want to lose assistants if they're going to be a head coach somewhere.
Yeah. So we had to do a better job.
100%. Yeah. But with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, last thing which I'll throw out there, which Greg actually sent this one, that NC State University is turning into the hub for esports, and NC State is growing to match it. With the help of $16 million in state funding, the university will expand its offerings to include a esports arena and mobile gaming truck. So, which I love it. I think that's hilarious.
Okay.
We're not just a bass fishing school anymore.
We're an esports.
Yeah. Well, this makes sense because the guy, what is it, Epic Games that makes Fortnite?
Yeah.
They're just down the street and carry. So this makes sense.
Yeah. No, exactly. I love it. So Razor, appreciate you, man. You've had a few great comments and especially recently. So sorry we haven't necessarily been shouting out to you too much, but didn't the ladies have a visitor today?
I think so.
From Notre Dame, I think it was.
That's what I was thinking. It was a forward. I mean, it's got to be a forward. I mean, I'm sure now we're looking too much at guards right now, but
needing guards.
So just again, fluid, right now. So we're just going to hang along with it. But huge shout out to NC State now being an esports school. Let's do it. I love it. Another thing we could beat UNC in. I'll take it.
We can be champions in that too.
That's right. Let's go, baby. We'll start the ACC and esports, baby. Two teams in it. Let's go.
Can you imagine? I think that's going to be a thing, like moving forward. Like,
you think so?
Oh yeah, it already is.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets sanctioned by the NCAA at some point.
Yeah, right. We got to set up NIL collective for esports.
Anything to make money, man. I mean, that's what the
makes a lot of money.
If it can make money, which it does, like I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude. I mean, how many NC State students alone would be interested to go check out a NC State esports team? That'd be pretty sick. Like, I'd go check it out. I'll go check it out.
Those dudes and dudettes make a lot of money, man. Like stupid money.
Yeah, Ninja. Look at Ninja, man. Dude's a freaking millionaire off playing games. So,
Anyway.
Anyway, y'all, once again, y'all, if you haven't already, do us a big favor, y'all. Hit that subscribe button, y'all. Again, we are still on the road to 10,000 subscribers, y'all. And greatly appreciate you hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already, which is free to do so. And make sure, again, y'all, to as well, that if you want to go and check out the One Pack NIL football celebration next Wednesday at Northridge Country Club, go check out the One Pack NIL website. Go take advantage and buy your tickets here today, as there's only a few still remaining, y'all. So make sure to go and take advantage of that here right now. And again, it's going to be a great time. We'll be there again Wednesday night at Northridge Country Club. Make sure to go and check it out. And
also, Saturday is the gala for the Hall of Fame. I don't know if there's tickets still available, but if there is, go check it out.
Yeah, great point. Thanks, Greg. And then lastly, as well as right after this, we're going to be recording the NC State Men's Basketball Award Show, which I want to give a huge shout out to all the people that submitted their votes, as we do have winners in each of them. There's no ties, luckily, which is great. So thank you to everybody who submitted, and make sure to stay tuned for that. So with that being said, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning again. We appreciate y'all as always. David Johnson, go Pack, baby. We love it. And hey, let's see what happens with the transfer portal. Hopefully, we have some great news to celebrate here soon. So with that being said, thank y'all so much. Go Pack, and we'll see y'all soon.